So, next up, unfortunately, our next speaker is not going to be around to introduce herself and give a talk. So, without further ado, I'm going to be introducing Helen to introduce Helen.
Hi!
You okay, Chuckles?
I'm okay. I'm just like, there's a little bit of a delay. I've got two laptops in front of me. So I'm currently waving on one laptop and talking on the other. So it's really off-putting.
Turn the one with the YouTube away from you. Trust me, it'll help a lot.
Everyone's talking on that one. And like, I want to be a part of the conversation. So I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah. Hello, everybody.
So, would you like to introduce Helen and why she's going to be giving a video talk?
Yes, I would. Okay. So, hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for joining. This is super weird doing it all virtual. It's great. But as I've said a million times, I really want to get back to doing it face to face. So I can hug you all and drink lots of beer with everyone. But yeah, so those of you who have actually been to the real life fusions before will know that like in probably like the last 12 months, 18 months, we've had a few people, well, a couple of people from Mind Birmingham. So the first talk we had was Mike Jeffries. So we've kind of had like a real focus on mental health for each of our events. And we're trying to kind of keep the conversation going, I suppose, with that. Helen Wadley, the CEO of Mind, I have been trying to get this woman for so long, and she's super duper busy, as you can imagine. She works so hard. So she couldn't actually do a live talk tonight. So she's done this amazing pre-recorded talk for us, which is just brilliant. So I hope you all take something home from it. How was the last 6 months? This whole working from home thing has been so weird. I don't know how people have found it. I don't think I know one person that's found it particularly easy. I know I haven't. Kind of, missing that sort of human interaction. I've kind of really felt that myself. So what Helen's done is her talk is basically practical tips to, well, I suppose like for good mental health whilst working from home. So I know things are easing and things are a bit up and down, but I think a lot of people are still working from home. So hopefully there's some tips in there that you can really use as well. I think it's really good that we've actually got this today, Mike. Realising it's World Suicide Prevention Day. So keeping this topic of mental health and the importance of good mental health and talking going is really important. So I'm going to introduce Helen and stop talking now. This is Helen Wadley. If anyone has any questions, please drop them in the comments and we'll share those with Helen or some of the team at Birmingham Mind, and we can get those questions answered and we'll pop them on our Twitter feed either tomorrow or it'll be Monday next week. So over to Helen from Mind.
And now for me to do some tech wizardry without breaking the internet again.
Good luck.
Let's see if this works. If people don't hear audio, please say.
Hi, my name's Helen Wadley. I'm the Chief Executive of Birmingham Mind, and today I'm going to talk to you about some practical tips on how to stay well whilst we're all working from home during these strange times. So really just to sort of focus a bit on, well, what do we actually mean by mental health? Because I think people have got some real misconceptions about that you're either ill or you're not ill. And with mental health, it is very much a continuum. So, we have in our daily lives, we have times when things aren't working so well for us. So, it is that everyone has ups and downs. If we suffer a loss, then we're likely to get very depressed about it. We might get quite angry about it. In the middle of a pandemic, it is normal, really, for everyone's anxiety to increase and for people's mental health to sort of be a bit less robust than normal. So it is this continuum, and it's a continuum that everyone really goes up and down. And even if you are have been diagnosed as, say, with schizophrenia, one of the more serious mental health conditions, you can still actually be quite mentally well at times. So it's not an all or nothing. And it is also about, a bit like our physical health, it is part of us, it's part of the human condition. So working from home, and if my cat comes and interrupts me, then I'm sorry. I think all of you will know the difficulties about working from home when you've got pets and children as well. But since March this year, we've all had to embrace working from home. And there are some really good things about it. So you can get the washing in when it's wet. You can have a quick cuddle with your pet, or you can spend a bit more time with your children and be there to put them to bed at night. So there's some really good things about working from home, but actually there's also some difficulties about working from home as well that we can all experience. So I'm just going to run through some of those practical tips about how we can make sure that we stay as well as we can whilst working from home. It's really important to still have that sort of demarcation between home and work, really. So it's about ensuring that we've got a space in the house, which is our workspace, or that it's a space which allows us to put all of our work away at the end of the day. But it is really important about, if you can, it's best to obviously be able to use a spare bedroom or whatever and turn that into an office, which you only open the door at the time that you clock on, and you close the door on your way out at the time you log off, and that you don't just allow those boundaries to get too blurred, really. If you're not able to be able to designate a space, a room for working, then it is really important that you find a way of being able to hide your work computer or your paperwork or whatever, that you put it away at the end of the day and that you take it out of the drawer or wherever you've put it the beginning of the next day, so that, again, it's that work, home, and being quite separate. And making sure that you've got everything with you that you need to have at home in order to be able to work properly. And that includes making sure that you've got your contacts list and you know how to be in contact with your manager and with your colleagues, and having all of the necessary information, really. One of the other things that you can really do to sort of help keep that home and work life from blurring too much is about changing into work clothes as you would normally. Even if it's just putting on a work top, and you might want to still be wearing your pajama bottoms or whatever, but actually clothes can help signify that something is changing. So it's important that if you are struggling from home, that you think about what can I do that would help me ensure that I know when I'm working and know when I'm at home and enjoying home. So have a think about whether you would want to still have an element of dressing for work. And it is really important to create a routine. So, for example, I'm working from home, but each morning I still go for a 10-minute walk. It's only 10 minutes because I'm physically disabled as well. But I always have gone for that 10-minute walk before getting in the car and driving to work. And so now I still go for that 10-minute walk. And then when I come back in, I make myself a cup of tea, I sit down, I log on, and that's my routine. And that walk helps to, again, set me up for it's time to work. And if it's too rainy, then I'll sometimes do sort of 10 minutes of yoga or something. So it's just that using exercise as a way of firstly energizing myself and getting myself a bit more motivated, but also saying, right, and now then there is work after this. What I'm really bad about doing is stopping the work. So I think it's really important that we find ways of making sure that we do that logging off. And if you live with someone else, you can get them to help you with that, or again, make sure that you've got ways and means of being able to sort of separate that end of the day with your being back at home. Working from home, we sort of lose those sort of water cooler moments, really, don't we? The general chit chat about what happened in the soaps last night or what's in the news or whatever. And particularly with the pandemic that we're in as well, where it's sort of, you know, there is so much that people might want to talk to each other about. So it's really important that there is that connection with colleagues, which is not just around the work and helping plan and helping coordinate the work that needs to be done, but also builds in a bit of fun as well. So some places do sort of social hours once a week, so they do a quiz or just a general get together. Just having teams conversations with each other can really help ensure that people feel that connection. And it really helps. I mean, Zoom, who would have loved to have had some shares in Zoom before the pandemic? It's gone from relative obscurity to now, you know, what you use both work and socially in order to stay connected with people. And face-to-face is always better, but actually, you know, virtually, you're still able to make eye contact with people. You're still able to have that bit of that deeper connection than you would on the phone. I think, you know, it can be difficult to reach out for support, and I think it's beholden on all of us to ask our colleagues if they're needing support, if we think they're struggling. But also it's beholden on us to reach out and say to our manager or colleagues, look, I'm struggling, and be explicit about what that struggle is, and what, you know, sort of being really clear about what it is you're struggling with and what might be useful for them to do. So I know, for example, with one of my colleagues, he was struggling a bit, so I agreed with him that at the end of each day we would have a phone call and a bit of a debrief and then a conversation about what was going to happen the following day. So it's just that making sure that people are able to reach out. In terms of, you know, sort of when to start being aware of the fact that your mental health is starting to deteriorate a bit, it's being aware of what those sort of early warning signs are, and they do vary from person to person. But some of the things that you might feel is irritable, very intolerant with people in circumstances that normally you would have a level of tolerance around. Your thoughts racing, not being able to switch off, not being able to enjoy things that you normally would. Really finding it difficult to sleep, difficult to get motivated, not able to really have much interest in what's going on. And those are sort of signs that it's sort of, okay, it's time to do something about, really. We, you know, sort of make sure that it's sort of, we put in a bit more effort to trying and looking after our mental health at that stage. So what you can do, both at that stage, but most importantly in a way now, even if you're not at that stage of your mental health being a bit of a worry, you know, doing the investment in our physical health, eating properly, exercise, etc., not only benefits our physical health, but it also benefits our mental health. And there is other things that we can do as well that will be preventative factors in helping us to stay well and keep well. So I'll go through some of those. And the first one really is that I mentioned already about that exercise, getting outside, I spoke about me going for a walk each morning. Now, it's not just about ensuring that I'm helping to create that routine between home and work. It is also about that there is scientific evidence which shows that half an hour of unfiltered daylight, so not wearing sunglasses, is really important for our physical and our mental well-being. And doing the exercise, you get all the endorphins, etc. So, and it's much easier to be mindful as well when you're getting out and about. So I think it's sort of really important to find a way of having regular exercise, regular daily exercise, even if it's just a walk. Particularly at the moment with the pandemic, I know I've been guilty of watching every news program going and scouring the internet and everything, trying to make sense of the world, really. I think if you're starting to feel more anxious, starting to feel that sort of knot in your stomach, starting to feel a bit as though you can't think of anything else, it's really important to set some limits on your social media and also on news channels. I'm really just saying, I will watch half an hour of news once a day, and that is it. And I will look at my Facebook feed for half an hour a day, or whatever social media platform you want to use. But actually, you don't get drawn into doing it more and more and more, because it will just make your thoughts spiral much more. In terms of social media as well, I think it's important to only follow accounts and people that make you happy, that bring positivity into your life. And that is both your friends and your family, as well as sort of people that maybe are celebrities or that you don't know. There are some people's social media use which can make us feel inferior. So they've got a perfect life. Why is my life feeling a bit of a mess? There is some people's who social media is full of, oh no, this is the latest disaster that's hit me, or woe is me, can people help? And that you feel drawn into. Do a bit of a cleanse of your social media platforms that you follow. Only follow the things which uplift you and are positive in your life. And if that means that all you do is follow cat accounts or dog accounts or horses accounts on social media, then so be it. But don't feel that you have to follow particular people, even if they're your family. You might have heard of this before, but it's important to sort of think about the 5 ways to well-being, really. It's very clear, evidence-based, that there are 5 things that we can do to help us feel mentally well each week, each day. So they're connecting with others, keeping those relationships that are nurturing to us. Also, the connection can be about helping others, so doing voluntary work, coming into contact with people that you wouldn't normally come into contact with, making, that for most people, if they do voluntary work, they're doing it because they get a real buzz from helping other people, and that buzz is makes our mental health feel better. Learn, so that constant curiosity about the world, learning about different things, whether it be taking the opportunity at home to do the baking or the gardening, or any e-learning, just a way of stimulating your mind, really. Take notice, be mindful. I'm a huge fan of mindfulness, and mindfulness in its absolute essence is nothing more than living in the moment. So I can sometimes allow my thoughts to race, and I'm thinking about the future too much and the what ifs. Mindfulness helps bring me back to the here and now, and it helps stop doing that sort of catastrophizing that, well, if I'm not able to make to that meeting, then what are they going to say? What's going to be decided? What if, that constant sort of thought pattern, if you can recognize that, then actually mindfulness is really useful to help sort of do some grounding. And there's lots of support around mindfulness, and something like the Headspace app is one that we would often recommend. Giving back, so spoke about voluntary work under the connection petal of wellbeing. Giving back is similar to that, so it is that making sure that you are part of your community and that you are doing things which are helping other people. It's a really powerful way of keeping ourselves well as obviously helping others. And being active, we talked about the exercise earlier on. I think, if things are starting to feel a bit out of control, it is really important to recognise that there is support out there, and that getting support isn't a sign of weakness, nor is it a sign that you will end up in a psychiatric hospital or, sort of under the care of a psychiatrist or any of those sorts of things. So the vast majority of people that reach out for help are supported outside of the mental health, the formal NHS system, really. So never be afraid of reaching out. As part of our response to the pandemic, Birmingham Mind is part of the new 24/7 helpline, mental health helpline for Birmingham and Solihull. And we answer the phone between 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. And then the mental health trusts do the overnight. But we're able to send people self-care packs that sort of suit their interests. We're able to help get people into counselling, so being able to talk to a highly qualified person about how they're feeling really quickly. So, sort of whilst there are some delays in the mental health system and some huge waiting lists, actually, within Birmingham and Solihull, there's been a lot of investment to make sure that people who need to talk have got that ability to talk to a qualified person very quickly, as in within the next 48 hours or certainly within the next week. Do have a look at our website, follow our social media accounts if it makes you happy, but do have a look around. And also the National Mind website has got a huge amount of really great leaflets and articles and information on all types of mental health issues and well-being issues, and just how to stay well during this time. It is a difficult time, and I think just to repeat the end point really about, it is normal at the moment to feel more anxious than we would normally. It is normal at the moment to be struggling a bit more with our mental well-being. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and that is scary. There is something that's invisible that's out there that effectively is killing some people. That is a really scary situation to be in. It's normal to feel anxious. So do the sort of exercise, the connection, looking after yourself, etc. If your anxiety is stopping you from being able to enjoy your life or being able to go outside, then please do reach out to us, and we can get you some help. And it's all confidential help, and it just enables us to it enables all of us to be able to catch things and do things at the right time, rather than it ending up being a real crisis. So please stay well, please look after yourselves, please be kind to yourselves.